Nuance nostalgia, it's a 90s vibe. Come and tap in, we keeping it live. Nuance nostalgia, it's a 90s vibe. Come and tap in, we keeping it live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Nuance Nostalgia. I'm Nick Norris, and with me, as always, is Caitlin, the Sanderson sister herself, Shortall.
One of them, yes.
Yes.
Hello.
All right, we're back with another spooky episode. Took a week off for our 1 year anniversary. We're out of town in a spooky city.
Very spooky,
in Savannah, Georgia. But we're back to do Hocus Pocus.
Just for this.
We're going back to Savannah after.
Yeah.
Flew into the studio for an hour.
Flying right back out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How was your trip?
You were there.
How was it?
It's a great time.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
We did a ghost tour.
We were tired the entire time. I mean, nonstop.
Yeah,
but as usual, Yeah. But yeah, the ghost tour was really fun. I was pretty drunk, can't lie. I was pretty unwell. But...
I feel like you liked the ghost tour because you heard some like the medical sides of murders, and I heard a lot of history stuff. So
yeah, it was definitely a good moment for both of us. And at the end of it, I was falling asleep, which is no shade to that person.
Yeah, they did a good job telling stories
to the guide.
You were unfazed.
I was just tired.
Yeah, you were very tired.
No, and I will go to sleep anywhere. Yeah. And so apparently one of those places was on a park bench.
Sitting straight up.
Yes.
Yeah. I had to
nodding off.
I had to hit you like, hey, wake up. You're offending this man.
I felt so bad. It was so nice.
Yeah.
But we went on a dinner cruise and obviously had a lot of wine. Obviously, And
well, we bought one bottle of wine and they gave us another one for free.
Yeah.
Because a table next to us ordered one glass. They had to open it and they brought it over. They're like, y'all bought a bottle. You want another one? No, let's pay for this one. I'm like, yes, of course. Obviously.
I'll drink that. Yeah. So
I drank like 2 glasses of wine and you drank the
rest.
Yeah.
So I was unwell. And then had a marg after that. So.
Yeah. And
one thing we can all do is drink,
We had to run with our marks in our hands to make the ghost tour. We had to run from the bar. Literally run several
I
blocks.
wasn't literally. I was fast walking.
There's a point where we were jogging. You were just too drunk.
That's fair.
Know. There was because we were going fast enough that you couldn't drink your drink while you were jogging.
Yeah. But it was fun. We made it anyway, and we had a good time. That drive is brutal, and then we tried to go to the Walking Dead Museum. Then it was closed.
Yeah, closed 20 minutes before we got there,
which is so sad, but it's all right.
Yeah, it's still a fun trip.
The thought count. Yeah. So anyway, great time. 10 out of 10. Always wanted to go on like a ghost tour, bar crawl. We did that.
Did too. Yeah.
And the people were a little rude on it, but it's okay.
Yeah, one lady threw up. Oh no! She spilled her shots.
But it was like someone else at the bar that wasn't a part of it. It was really weird and kind of awkward because everyone looked at her, but she was unfazed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I get around to editing this before the night is due, I'll put in some pictures of our trip. You got a picture by the bus stop from Halloween Town.
Yeah, I forgot. And the lighting is absolutely terrible. Yeah. And I was like, get a photo here. And lighting is so bad. And I just didn't faze me.
We also, on the ghost tour, saw a house that people were killed in front of in a hit and run. They got ran over. And you decided you want to take a photo with it. And you did the peace sign and kiss lips. And then you're like, and I didn't think anything about it. I was taking the photo and you're like, that's not appropriate.
That was the night that I had a lot of wine. And then because he was like, do you guys want to take photos? And I was like, sure, I'll get a photo. I honestly don't really remember the story that well because I was unwell. But anyway, I'm like in front of this house that people got killed in. I need to not do that.
I didn't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah. And then the rest of the tour, I didn't take a single other photo. I just couldn't be bothered.
Do you believe in ghosts now?
I think there's too much evidence to say that there's not. I've thought that before.
Would you say that this is evidence?
No. He's a little scary. Yeah. No, but yeah. I've always said that there's too much evidence to say that they're definitely not real.
You've never
know what
said
I mean?
that.
Oh, okay.
You've always said the
opposite.
Just
lying on me right now.
You've always said there's so much evidence.
Well, you are staunch. You don't believe it, period, huh? You said that many times,
I said I wouldn't if it was proven true. I'd just be like, oh, okay. But until it's proven, I'm just like, no, probably not.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like one of those things. It's like about aliens. You can't say they're definitely not real.
No,
you
I think
know?
aliens are real. I
Oh,
just don't
okay.
think ghosts are real.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I think alien ghosts are real.
Alien ghosts. Oh my
But
God.
continuing with the spooky week we've had, we're recording this early on a Thursday.
Yeah.
I want to get it over with so I can work out and then we can watch Thursday night football.
Which, if we're tired, that's why.
Yeah,
We're both
I
on
am
the struggle
tired.
bus,
Yeah,
yeah.
I worked today.
I'm not used to being. This is about time I'm like getting to work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm usually having to sleep all day. So my sleep schedule. Listen, this is not all we do. You know what I mean? We have, almost. I did
That's
say
okay.
shit.
You can say it. It's okay.
Can
It's
I
okay.
curse?
Yeah,
I'm just
remember I'm
kidding.
gonna bleep you every time.
That just go off.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do.
Every time though, I have to type it so that I can
So you can
find
go
where to
back.
scrub.
I'm just gonna make it every other word. I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna put a bunch there. Okay.
But speaking of that, yes, this is the new addition to the Squishmallows. This is Winston.
Oh yeah, I got you that one for our anniversary. It's a little
Yes.
scarecrow penguin.
Yeah, he is a scarecrow penguin. Winston, he's a chef without any arms.
This is a bear that you got.
I don't remember that one's name, unfortunately.
I have the tag in my drawer.
Yeah,
I think his name is like Gritty or something.
Like now it should be
Or
Gritty.
or Gritty or
I
Flossing.
think it's like Gretchen or something.
or
Flossy.
Fortnite. Something like I don't know.
Gritty Fortnite. That's his new name. No, but anyway, yes. Overall, 10 out of 10 time. Very, very fitting for October.
Well,
spooky season.
Continuing with October, we are talking about Hocus Pocus this week. 1993. This movie is 30 years old this year.
Older than both of us. Yeah.
Older than both of us combined.
Combined? It's like, what?
Is directed by Kenny Ortega, no relation to Jenna Ortega. I already looked that up.
Oh,
yeah.
I was just like, why do I know that last name?
Yeah, not her. You've seen this before.
So I've seen it a while ago.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I watched it very recently. Maybe not last year, but the year before. I've seen this 100 times. So we just watched a recap because we both are pretty familiar with this movie.
And I would not have made it through another movie. I would have gone to sleep.
And we didn't have time.
Yeah.
And I wasn't.
But I mean, if you haven't seen it, like you need to watch it, try and pirate or something. Pirate it legally
Plus,
on the internet.
Yeah.
Or pay for it if you want to pay $50 a month for Disney Plus.
Yeah. Which we do, and we still didn't watch it. We watched the recap. So
I mean, if I had more time and I was more awake, I would have, but
yeah.
I mean, we both watched the second one, last year, but this is the original, the OG.
Yeah, so this is the first one.
Which I didn't know this, but apparently it was considered like a failure, like it didn't make
big
money.
box office bomb. So yeah, I've got the notes on that. The budget was $28 million. You're going to double that usually for marketing. So this is well over $50 million movie. It made only $45 million. So this was in the red. It was also panned by critics at the time. Critics did not like this movie. They were like, this is cheesy and bad and poorly made. And
poorly made.
To be honest, it kind of is in every regard except the acting and the story.
It could be worse.
But it looks like
honestly.
a direct-to-TV movie.
Yeah, it does. I didn't even know it went to theaters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you paid full price for a ticket, you only watch 96 minutes. It's very short, and it looks like a Disney Channel movie. You probably would be like, that sucked.
It really could be worse though, honestly. I mean, maybe at the time, potentially it could have been like really that bad, but like I don't know. I think that adds to the charm of it. I don't know.
The three witches save this movie: Bette Midler
You're
and
right.
Sarah Jessica Parker, and the other one.
Like it's like
I don't got
the
her
other
name
one
somewhere.
exactly.
Well,
the Sarah Jessica Parker was in this.
Yeah.
Before Sex in the City. I think it was before Sex in the City.
or around it. It could have been during.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit before, maybe. I feel like Sex and the City's late 90s, mate. I don't know. I'd have to look and see.
I mean, I know people
early
like it. I just
2000s.
don't watch it.
Yeah.
And she plays the same character.
Yeah, and it's back. They brought it back. Yeah, and the same. Yeah, but Sex and the City's back too. There's a new season of it or something.
Yeah, and you know what? To that I say, can we stop rebooting things? I'm over it. Rebooting.
Well, now it's all continuations. That's everything. You bring everything back.
Well, it's either continuation or or of like something that was like in the early 2000s or 90s, and or we're rebooting it completely.
What's happening
redoing it.
is we're now the people our age are getting to where they're making movies, and so they're pushing all the stuff from our childhood on the new generation who doesn't care. Just like how the kids in the 80s
in the
90s didn't care about the Addams Family or the Brady Bunch, and they forced those movies that bombed, and
Yeah.
then that generation came around and they made everybody Ghostbusters and everything from the 80s. We had to watch all that, and now we're
Mm.
doing the same thing with the 90s and 2000s stuff.
Like, can we
It
not
never
come up with
ends.
anything original anymore?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we know as well as anyone, like nostalgia really really resonates with people and works. But can we stop rebooting things? I'm tired of it.
We are kind of though in a transitional period where I think people are getting tired of reboots. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that's the reason that Barbie and Oppenheimer both did so well. Or they were
Yeah,
not
because
reboots.
I totally agree. And I mean, there's a difference between like making an animated thing live action. Like, I
Mm.
don't think, in my opinion, that's the same thing. But like, why are we rebooting The Office? I'm tired of it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
snooze. Yeah, the writer's strike ended, so we're rebooting The Office. But I mean, think about like Indiana Jones came back and nobody watched it. It bombed. And like
Well,
I liked it,
yeah,
but
I know
like
you did. Yeah. Well, you have like a, you really liked it, and
yeah,
from your childhood even.
but what I'm saying is like that what there wasn't enough nostalgia.
Yeah,
People
that's
weren't gonna go
true.
see it.
That's a good
So
point.
I
Yeah,
think people's kind of burnt out on the whole
the
nostalgia
people
thing.
that liked it they don't know what year it is anymore. You know what I
That
mean?
or they just don't care. Or they're not going to spend their money on that.
Yeah,
They'll
that
wait a
too.
month and watch it
Yeah,
on TV.
yeah.
For $5 a month instead of
Sometimes it works, and then I just think
yeah,
it did, and now
it
people are
did.
getting to the point where we're like,
Yeah,
okay, like I
yeah,
just said.
yeah.
But anyway, I think that's why it did. The second one did decently well last year because remember the hype for that was huge for Hocus Pocus 2.
Right. And
Yeah.
so even though this bombed initially and had bad reviews, it grew
Mhm.
over time.
Right.
It did
Yeah.
super well in DVD sales.
And like all the merch, like there's
Yeah.
so many like Halloween decorations that
Well,
are.
even just going back to the 2000s, like obviously they're like, okay, well, this didn't do well. Let's pump it on Disney Plus. I mean, on Disney Channel,
Mhm.
and then people
That's
will buy the
true.
DVD. So they did, and they started playing on ABC, and then they re-released it in the early 2010s. It made $1 million being back in theaters, and
Mhm.
yeah, all the merch until finally 29 years passed. It had made its money back and more,
I
and
was gonna say surely now they may have a profit
they
from it.
said,
Yeah.
yeah, and now they said we can actually make a TV budget one because it's going to go to TV. Disney Plus make the sequel. It's going to look better because the technology's better, and people will subscribe or watch it and sell more merch than it did. So
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
though the second one, it's hard to tell what makes a profit with streaming
Hmm.
because they don't release their numbers, and
Yeah.
you can't really tell who signs up to watch a certain thing.
Hmm.
But this did really well when it came out.
Yeah. When it did last year. Yeah. Yeah. It's very nostalgic for a lot of people, and I mean, just if you think about it, like think about how many like things are Sanderson sister themed. I
Mm.
mean, it's like makeup. There's even like a ColourPop collection that came out, and that sold out instantly.
Yeah.
There was like a line outside of Ulta
You see it
to
everywhere. I
get
mean, you
it.
can go to Walmart and there's Sanderson sister inflatables you can buy for your
Yeah.
yard for
Yeah.
Halloween decorations. I
And
mean, yeah,
there's
it's
like Sanderson
everywhere.
system,
So,
like I said, Halloween decorations to this day. You can
not
beat the
to
Sanderson
mention,
systems for
like Disney World does their Halloween thing every year. You go
hmm
there, you meet the Sanderson sister, you get their autograph, you get their picture. They put them in the parades, they put them in the
hmm
fireworks shows. Like it's all IP, and even though it didn't make money initially, it's definitely made back
Which yeah, I was
that and
surprised to
more.
know that people didn't like it when it first came out because I mean it's huge now.
Yeah, but it
Yeah,
looks cheap, like it, and especially.
but it's like oh yeah, it's a '90s movie. You know what I mean?
But what I'm saying is, people just saw the trailer. It looked cheap. They didn't see the charm, so they said, "I'm not going to pay money for that." Is
Oh
basically what
yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then they saw it on TV and said, "This is great," but they
Fair
weren't going to
enough.
pay for
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Um, as far as impact this had on pop culture, I think this really the biggest impact it had outside of merch and things like that is I think this was a wake up call for Disney to be like, okay, some of the stuff we make has to just be for TV. And I think right after this is when we got the string of Disney Channel exclusive movies that came out from the mid 90s to the late 2000s, where it was Camp Rock and all these things that was never going to go to theaters, but they knew they could make it on TV and then they could sell the merch for it. And I think this is kind of the blueprint for that.
I can't believe they didn't do that before. Like I can't believe some stuff went to theaters.
Yeah. Yeah. Some stuff that shouldn't have.
Which is it's so
Yeah.
crazy to think about. I guess like TV may be more accessible. I don't know. I don't know why
Yeah.
that works better. You know what I mean? But that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that is the biggest impact of this is that it kind of it made Disney reevaluate their model of what went to theaters and what didn't. You
Hmm.
know, um, as for a rough summary of the plot, I have a rough summary and then I have a long summary. So I thought we'd go through the rough summary. And then if you want to, we can go through some of the long summary and talk about it as we go, since we both kind of need a little bit of a refresher. We watched a recap on it, but we
Yeah.
could still use some structure here. So 300 years have passed since the Sanderson sisters were executed for practicing dark witchcraft, returning to life thanks to a combination of a spell spoken before their demise and the accidental actions of Max, the new kid in town. The sisters have put one night to secure the sisters have but one night to secure their continuing existence.
Yeah. Wild premise. Yeah, they're in Salem, which is
Mhm.
where obviously the Salem witch trials were.
Yes.
Which is a wild thing in history that happened in the
It's
first
wild
place. Yeah.
also that we make light of that so much. We're always
I know,
talking about
right?
like witches and making movies about witches when it was just like a bunch of innocent women that was murdered.
I know.
It's kind of
And then
wild.
like
It'd be kind of like if there's just a bunch of movies about like 9/11 was because of ghosts. Kind of
isn't it
like that
wild? Yeah, like
to an extreme extent, obviously. But
yeah.
yeah, a bunch of innocent women murdered because their husbands didn't like them or they had a mental illness
Like
or whatever.
anyone would be like
Yeah.
accused of being a witch, and you would have like no proof.
Yeah.
And then I think it was something along. I mean, you're the one that knows about history more than me, and you know what I mean. But I mean, didn't they like throw them into a river or something? And if they floated, then they
They
were
burn them at the stake. I mean,
well, like to see if they were a witch. Like
yeah,
if they
so that was
floated, then they were like
it
innocent.
depended on where you were in the country. It's
Yeah.
different areas to different things in the colonies and whatnot. But
Yeah.
yeah, one of the methods was we'll just tie you to a chair with a bunch of bricks attached to it or something, drown you, and if you don't drown, God thinks you're innocent.
Which is just like
Yeah.
I cannot believe that.
And like, I'm not saying that like I'm offended by it. I don't care. These people have been dead for 300 years. It doesn't matter. It's just wild to me that like, oh, this is like a little silly thing when
That's what I
women
mean.
were murdered.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we're doing this. That's crazy. Yeah.
As far as the actual play here, we'll get a little bit more into it. But like I said, this is only 96 minutes. It's a brisk watch. It's just scary enough that kids can watch it and not get scared and have to go sleep in the room with you. Like they can.
Who would be well, you know what? Let me not comment on that. I was gonna say who was scared of this, but maybe if you're like a young kid, maybe
When
you
I was
were,
really little, I remember being scared of
like the I almost said the
song.
demon,
I've
the
got it right
zombie.
here. Not the zombie, actually.
The
'Cause he's
song?
kind of
Did you say the song?
Yeah, he's kind of funny. This song right here.
Come, little children, I'll take thee away.
That song, that whole scene scared me.
By
as a kid.
the Sarah Jessica Parker. I'm just kidding. She
Yeah,
didn't
but
sing
not her
that.
voice. Yeah, but her mouth moving to the
Yeah.
words. She actually said that. So obviously they filmed that in front of like a green screen or like whatever, and they put a fan on her. They didn't make her actually stand on a broom. They had like a seat attached to the broom that she sat on. She said it was so comfortable that she would just like get there before set with a newspaper and coffee and like read the newspaper while she was.
Is that
while she was in there.
real?
Yeah. I mean, that's what she said. That she could lie, I guess, but why would she?
She just got to set and read the newspaper.
Yeah, it was the 90s.
Like, what do you mean she never a smartphone?
She couldn't play Flappy Bird. She had to read the news.
That's so crazy. Oh my god, just a whole cup, like a mug, and the newspaper.
What do you put your coffee in?
Why couldn't she just why did she just sit in a chair? Like she's in her regular clothes and went to go sit on her like
She said it was comfortable. I don't know. Ask her. Why am I on trial here?
you see how I instantly believe that it's not real. I'm like, nope.
But you believe those photos at the ghost tour. Our ghost tour guy, he was very good at telling stories, but he had the most obviously photoshopped photos on his iPad.
You know what? Here's what I'll say about that.
You were drunk.
Yeah.
Seeing double.
Well, no, I was drunk and also I wanted him to feel like validated.
No. Because you told me after when it was just us, you're like, those looked real. And I was like, yeah.
In hindsight, like the one that was like closest to the camera, you could like obviously tell like the like the facial features.
It was like a full person there,
Yeah.
just like
Like it was like a dressed
like
up
an app.
person.
It was like they used an app. I've used that app in like 2010, and everybody's just like,
Listen.
"Wow, that you took this," and I was like, I was gonna be a jerk.
Did I say that? That's
I was
funny.
I was like, that's crazy.
Like,
Trying
that
to be
editing
nice.
is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin the fun for everybody or be mean to this man, but I was just thinking like, this is silly.
You know, all I have to say about that is I wanted it to feel validated. And then also I was linked, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
but
That's what I was
anyway.
like. She's probably seeing 4 of these ghosts. So she can't tell.
That's so funny.
Um,
Anyway, but I guess I'll say like people have to like work hard to prove that it's not, that it is real as opposed to not, you know what I mean? Especially on TikTok, but anyway, that's besides the point.
yeah. Well, I don't know why she would lie about that.
I don't know either, but it just seems so far fetched. What do you mean she got to set and then just sat on her like broom that she, uses in the movie? You know what I mean? Sarah Jessica Parker, yes, I'm explaining. Anyway, whatever.
Back to the plot. I'm going to go through this a paragraph at a time. At the end of the paragraph, we'll talk about each one, okay?
Slay. Okay.
On October 31st, 1693, in Salem, Massachusetts, Thackeray Binks witnesses his little sister Emily being whisked away by the woods by the Sanderson sisters, 3 witches who were named Winifred. That's
Orange-haired one.
Yeah, what can I? Bette Midler, and
with the teeth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where was that? You made me lose my spot when I looked at you. Sarah. I think that's Sarah Jessica Parker. They just gave her the same name. And Mary, the other one that I don't remember her name.
The other one, yeah.
Binks confronts the witches, but he fails to save Emily, and her life force is drained, making the witches young again. After that, Binks is transformed into a black cat by the witches, cursed to live forever with his guilt for not saving Emily. So right off the start, we start with a little girl dying in this movie. It's pretty wild.
Well, that, and I forgot that the cat was actually a person. So.
Yeah, and it can talk, but it doesn't do it until it's the most like inconvenient time.
Which, why not talk sooner? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think there was like other instances where like the cat really needed them to like understand what's going on. Yeah.
Having been alerted by Binks's friend Elijah, the townsfolk arrest the sisters for the murder of Emily before the Sanderson sisters are hanged in the town square. While they are denying any knowledge of what happened to Thackeray, Winifred casts a curse that will resurrect the sisters during a full moon on All Hallows Eve. The Virgin lights the black flame candle in their cottage. Binks decides to guard the cottage so no one can bring the witches back to life. Why would you pick such a difficult spell? The odds of that ever happening in general, none. This should not have happened.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, why does it have to like specifically be a virgin? You know what I mean?
And a candle in the house on Halloween night. I would just, if I was them, I'd be like, I'm gonna come back to life the next time one of you sneezes.
Literally, yeah.
And then I'll be back like that night.
I don't know. Like, maybe there's like a fairy tale this is based off of. I have no idea. Maybe it's one of those things, but like, I just have not been able to get over the fact that it had to be a virgin.
Yeah.
Like, kids don't. This is a kids movie. You know what I mean? Maybe it wasn't intended to be, but like it is, and so like kids are not gonna know what that is. You know, and they're like, "What's a virgin?" And like.
Which they
how do we know that
they do that bit in the sequel?
They do, yeah. But anyway, I just why are we making that a thing? I don't know. It could just be like it could be just anything else, you know.
To be pure.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I suppose that's
because
what it
only
is.
pure people can do magic, like the Sanderson sisters,
who are pure,
who kill children. 3 centuries later, on October 31st, 1993, Max Dennison reluctantly takes his younger sister Danny out trick-or-treating, where they meet Max's new classmate, Allison Watts, whom he is attracted to. The 3 visit the former Sanderson cottage, now an abandoned museum, where Max inadvertently resurrects the witches. The witches attempt to suck the soul out of Danny, but Max comes to her rescue.
He's a bad brother. That's what I'll say about that.
Yeah. Also, so the Sanderson sisters' house is a regular house, and then at some point it's turned into a museum, right?
Yeah.
Then the museum shuts down because too many spooky things were happening, and the people who owned it just left it all to rot. You're not going to sell any of those things inside. All those.
Why is the book just chilling in there?
That's a 300-year-old book that's connected. You know for a fact it's connected to the Salem witch trials.
Exactly.
Witches were killed supposedly, because you're not going to sell that, at least to an auctioneer or something.
Why is not that
it's
not
been
sold?
there so long it's covered in cobwebs.
Exactly.
It's left to rot.
I feel like anyone would have sold that to like I don't even know what museum it would go to, like natural history. I have no idea.
And no one's ever tried to break in before.
It's got an eyeball. Like, why are you not selling that?
Yeah, it has an eyeball.
I feel like this is
pretty
crazy.
sure it's made out of human skin. You're not you would sell that. It was like that's
I mean, even if not to a museum, like someone has to want that. That'd be
Yeah.
a cool party trick.
So I
like,
just thought
this
that was
book's got
funny.
an eyeball.
That was something I never thought about until this, and I was like, no one's broken into that. Nobody's tried to steal anything. They just left it all around. How long has it been closed for?
A
How long was it
while.
there before they turned it to a museum?
I mean, at the very least, homeless people are gonna live in there. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that premise by itself definitely is not realistic. Obviously, yeah.
Escaping, Max steals Winifred's spell book, and on advice from the immortal cat Binks. So the cat, this is where the cat tells him to talk. He's like, steal the book. And he's like, you can talk. And he's like, you better be kidding me right now, or whatever.
Is that what he says?
Something like that. Anyway,
It's
why didn't
terrible.
you stop him? Because earlier, Max goes to light the candle,
And he just jumps on him
and he just
instead
jumps
of
on it.
saying
Why didn't you say,
something.
hey, idiot,
Yeah.
don't do that?
Do you think his voice is loud?
The cat?
Yeah.
Do you, what, because I'm being loud?
No, I just meant like maybe that's why he didn't.
Oh, maybe he has to be, I don't know. It seemed like he could talk like a human.
Yeah, I don't know. I
He
mean,
also just has all the, I don't know. Yeah. No.
that's all I got for his
I was gonna say,
why
he's got-
he didn't. I
He's
don't
got
know.
all of, like the euphemisms and whatnot of like a 90s teen, but I guess he's just been around. He probably hangs out at the arcade.
Who, the cat?
Yeah.
Wasn't he supposed to be from the 1800s?
Yeah, but he acts like because at the end, even when he comes back to life, he's like flipping his hair around. He's like like a 90s kid.
They do both have 90s hair.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like the long hair on the sides with like the, what am I trying to say? Like the part in the middle. You know what I'm saying?
The Leonardo DiCaprio haircut.
Yeah, exactly.
Who was almost cast in a movie. We'll talk about that later.
Well, thank God he wasn't.
The witches pursue the children across town using Mary's enhanced sense of smell. Winifred reveals that the spell that brought them back only works on Halloween, and unless they can suck the life out of at least one child, they will turn to dust when the sun rises. After luring them to the high school, the children trap the witches into a pottery kiln and burn them alive. However, while the children are celebrating, the witches' curse revives them again. Pretty wild to just. It's pretty brutal to burn someone alive. It reminds me of like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie where they just put Shredder in a trash compactor.
Yeah.
Just crush him to death.
Like, that was a murder. That's crazy.
And then they're doing little like quips about it, like not getting out of there anytime. So that's a dead man. His blood
R.I.P.
is all over the pavement.
But I guess maybe the difference is like these are like supernatural
Yeah.
witches.
And they were
so
trying to kill you. So
they
fair game,
did.
you know,
Yeah,
I'd
they're
burn
a
'em
little
too.
evil.
Yeah.
And they're also a little dumb.
Yeah, they're
Like-
kind of Three Stooges-esque.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Like Three Stooges vibes.
Yeah.
They're also like sometimes violent and other times not.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're very like choosy with who they want to just kick in the head and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they just fall over so easily. Like there's just so many things.
Not realizing the witches have survived, Max and Allison open the spell book, hoping to reverse the spell on Binks. The open spell book reveals the location of the group, and the witches track them down, kidnap Danny and Binks, and recover the spell book. Sarah uses her singing to lure Salem's children to the Sandersons' cottage. Max and Allison free Danny and Binks by tricking the witches into believing the sunrise was an hour early, thinking that they are done for. The witches panic and pass out, allowing Max, Danny, Allison, and Binks to escape. They trick them with the car lights, the headlights of the car.
Yeah, and like the main character, what's his name again? Danny's the kid. What's the main character's name?
Danny's the Max is the boy.
Max,
Yeah.
yeah. There's like a line where he's like, "How do we make the sun rise?" I'm like, excuse me. Hey, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know. Like that
Yeah.
line literally, or that line in general was just weird to me. And I
Yeah.
was like, what about like, why are we not asking how do we get sunlight?
Right.
Or how do we get like light to show
Yeah.
and like look like sunlight? You know what I mean? I just felt like that line is
Back at the cemetery, Billy
He's
catches
also in ninth grade, so maybe I don't know.
or something like that. He's in high
Okay.
school. We don't know how. He looks
Apparently a
young.
virgin.
Yeah. Back at the cemetery, Billy catches up to the children, takes Max's knife, cuts his stitched mouth open, and insults Winifred before joining the children against the witches. That's the zombie, by the way.
Yeah, because like that witch poisoned him,
Yeah.
and she brought him back to life because she thought that he was gonna help her.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The witches attack from the air and snatch Danny. Winifred attempts to use the last vial of potion to suck the soul of Danny, but Binks knocks the potion out of her hand, which Max catches and promptly drinks, forcing the witches to take him instead of Danny. So brave. He downs that thing like I've never seen somebody take a
I
shot
mean,
before.
he's done that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, he may be a virgin, but he's drank before. You know what I mean? Took it down. Ooh, like a real shot.
The sun starts to rise just as Winifred is about to finish draining Max's life force. In the ensuing struggle, Allison, Danny, and Billy fend off Mary and Sarah. Max and Winifred, struggling in the air, fall to the hallowed ground in the cemetery, causing Winifred to turn into stone. As the sun finishes rising above the horizon, Mary and Sarah are disintegrated into dust, along with Winifred's stone body. The witch's death breaks Binks's curse, allowing him to finally die and freeing his soul, reuniting him with Emily as they both head off into the afterlife while Billy returns to his grave to sleep. Winifred's spellbook opens its eye once more, revealing that it is still alive, indicating that the witches could possibly return again someday.
Which they do.
Which
you
they
know,
do,
and
but
obviously the second one.
for many years they thought they wouldn't because it lost so much money. And they did. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's wild.
29 years later, they did.
Yeah.
Now, 30 years later, we're talking about it. And there's another one on the way, which we'll also talk about.
Which also, like, what is there more to say? I mean, they did pretty much the same thing in Hocus Pocus 2,
Yeah.
except they made
To
them
a T.
good.
Yeah. Like it's the exact same plot.
Yeah, except like I said, they
The
make
same
them into
gags,
heroes
the
at the
same
end.
jokes. Yeah.
And I don't know what else there is to say in the third one, but we'll find out, I guess.
So actors Bette Midler is Winifred, Sarah Jessica Parker is Sarah, and Kathy Naimi is Mary.
Which
Omri
who
Katz
is
is Max.
But anyway,
she's in stuff. She's in a lot of stuff.
I'm
in the 90s.
sure.
She was maybe in Matilda. Oh, I can't remember.
That movie, I didn't like that one. So
You didn't like Matilda?
Mm-mm.
I like Matilda.
Mm-mm. I hated that headmaster lady. Anyway, besides the point. Anyway.
Special effects. What do you think about them?
You can tell they're from the 90s, you
Yeah.
know, which
They don't overdo it though. They're like, let's shoot some lightning. It's not like they're like recreating CGI witches.
it doesn't
anything.
look atrociously bad like
Yeah.
others we've seen, but yeah, I mean, you can tell it's from the old times.
Yeah, a lot of practical
Like,
stuff
that was
too.
so long
A lot
ago,
of
yeah.
fog, a lot of real sets.
Yeah,
It's mostly just set on like one street in the woods and then a couple houses, so that's that's cheap.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that helps. Soundtrack, got a banging soundtrack. You got the "Come Little Children" song. You got "I Put a Spell on You."
One
Bette
thing about
Midler
them, they're gonna sing a
version.
song.
Yeah.
And they do the same thing, like I said in the second one. They have One Way or Another. I think they
Yeah.
cover that one.
Yeah.
And then which also, how do they know any of this music? But we're gonna overlook that.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause technically they're supposed to be from the 1800s or whenever those Salem witch trials are.
1600s,
I just
yeah.
be saying years. I don't know.
The fashion though, it's very 90s, right? We
Yeah,
got tie-dye
definitely.
shirts, we got turtleneck sweaters, we got bangs all over the place.
Yes, bangs. Everyone's
Yeah.
banging. You know what I mean? The bayang,
Everybody's
not
like-
banging,
Okay.
not intercourse. Everyone's a virgin. I'm just kidding.
at least Max.
Yeah.
At least.
Also, their parents, they're terrible parents. They
Yeah.
just partied all night and didn't know where their kids were.
Yeah,
I guess they were under the spell of the witch.
They were.
but-
they heard the song.
Before that, I don't know. Like, they just weren't pressed at all about where their kids were.
The kids run up. They're like, "These three witches are chasing us."
Yeah.
Even if you're an adult, if you're like, "Okay, that's silly,"
Yeah.
but then you see three grown women run past them, you're obviously not going to think there's real witches, but you're probably like, "Why are you chasing my children?"
Yeah, literally. At the
That's
very
weird.
least, a person is running after your kids.
Yeah. And not just like dead on sprinting. There are scenes in this that's actually quite intimidating when the witch is Bette Midler's on the broom chasing them
Yeah.
down, and she is just like a bullet.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
there's moments where they're so violent, and other times they just like literally can't stay standing up straight. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, they fall over so easily. And then there's one time when Winifred, the main one, literally kicks off the zombie's head.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they just pick and choose whoever they want to be violent with, I guess.
Do you want to hear the story of how the sequel was made? Because it was a long time in the making.
But first, what's his face was almost cast as Max. Is that what you said?
We'll get to that in
Okay,
trivia. That's in
okay.
trivia. So in a November 2014 interview, so nearly 10 years ago.
2014.
Yeah. Bette Midler said that she was ready and willing to return for a sequel, and she also said that her co-stars Sarah Jessica Parker and Kathy Naimi were also interested in returning for a sequel. Midler stressed the fact that Disney had yet to greenlight any sequel, though, at this time. In October 2016, Sarah Jessica was asked the prospects of a sequel and said, quote, "I would love that. I think we've been very vocal that we're very keen." And then in October 2019, a sequel which was going to be developed as a Disney Plus exclusive film was announced, with a screenplay that was written by Jen D'Angelo. Midler, Parker, and Naomi all confirmed their interest in reprising their roles. And then in March 2020, Adam Schrankman was signed on to direct. In May 2021, it was confirmed that the three would reprise their roles as the Sanderson sisters, and it was announced that the film would be released in 2022, which it was on September 30th, 2022. Hocus Pocus 3 was announced to be in the development as of June 4th, 2023, this year. And that's supposed to be, it was originally supposed to be next year, but now probably won't be because of those strikes.
Exactly.
Yeah, so probably be 2025.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, which is fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I waited 29 years for the second one, so I'll wait.
We can wait a few.
I'll wait 29 more.
Till I'm 70.
When they're all CGI and
they're all AI developed.
Yeah. During an interview on the Big Seance podcast in September 2021, creator David Kirshner revealed that a Broadway adaptation of the original film is in development. During an interview leading up to the release of Hocus Pocus 2 in September 2022, he stated that, quote, "I just want to pinch myself, and I'm just afraid that I'm going to be 9 years old and on a Little League field again. But it's just so wonderful just to stand back and watch all of this. I think you're going to be very pleased." So
Broadway of Hocus Pocus?
I think that actually fits pretty well. It's a really simple story. It's already got songs in it. You can add a couple more. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a huge Broadway person. I'm sure that's probably good.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will love that.
Oh, yeah.
The Broadway people, they'll love that.
Yeah. So that may be in the works. Are you ready for some IMDb trivia now?
Sure.
Okay. Sarah Jessica Parker, which plays a witch who was executed. Yada, yada, we already know that. While researching her family history for the show, Who Do You Think You Are, 2004, Parker was shocked to discover that her 10th great-grandmother, Esther Elwell, was arrested in Salem, Massachusetts in the late 1600s for committing sundry acts of witchcraft. So she is actually a descendant of an alleged witch.
Can you believe that people were like literally arrested by the law?
Well, she was also well, that was part of it, but she was also arrested for choking her neighbor to death. So that
I suppose that is the reason to be arrested.
That probably had more weight to it than the witch allegations, but
they just wanted to add it on. They're like, yeah, she's probably a witch. She killed someone, probably a witch.
Esther's case never went to court. She escaped with her life, and the accusation ended the Salem witch trials. Parker said,
"You know what? I'm here for that."
She said, quote, "It has changed everything about who I thought I was," end quote. That's pretty cool. What a weird coincidence.
Yeah. You know what? I'm here for Esther escaping.
And it's not like a weird like, oh, it's my like distant cousins. This is a direct relative. So that's wild.
Great grandmother. Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah.
Also, I can't believe I keep saying 1800s.
Yeah, 1600s, 1690s, 80s, 90s for the most part. During a February 10th, 2008 interview on the BBC show Breakfast, Bette Midler stated that this was her favorite of all of her films. Her other favorite film role, according to her autobiography, Bette Midler, Still Divine, was voicing the poodle Georgette in Oliver and Company in 1988.
Is she British?
I don't know.
Sounds like she is if she's on BBC.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah,
she'll be British around me, as that's fine. That's okay.
That's right. We don't respect the British around here.
Yeah, everyone else but British people.
If we ever have a British listener, I'll hunt you for sport.
Block us on everything. I don't want to hear you or see you.
Especially hear you.
Yeah.
Here's the actual quote from the fact you didn't believe.
Okay.
Sarah Jessica Parker has said that she found being in the flying broom harness so comfortable that instead of being lowered back to the ground during the extended downtime between certain takes, she would stash a copy of the New York Times on her person to read while remaining suspended in the air.
See, it was just during the downtimes, though.
Extended downtime. That could be hours.
Yeah, but but in my mind, I was like, what do you mean she comes to work and then just sits on the broom? And then she goes, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it would make sense.
I guess you're right on a technicality.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like that makes more sense. Yeah.
Here we go. The role of Max Dennison was originally offered to Leonardo DiCaprio. He turned it down to appear in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, 1993.
That's fine.
Yeah.
The movie's too old for him now, so now he's not going to watch it.
By 5 years.
Yeah, so he won't watch it. But yeah,
his new girlfriend is actually 25, so...
Oh, he's doing better, even though he's pushing 50. So
Yeah.
But which all my homies hate Leonardo DiCaprio, but anyway, that's the point.
All my homies are Leonardo DiCaprio. Just kidding.
Oh,
I have
he's my only friend.
nothing for that guy. Not gonna sit here and defend
Yeah,
a man I don't know.
that behavior is weird in general, but that's a problem with
is.
Hollywood. But anyway, that's a whole other topic. But
It's also a problem with you. I'm significantly older than you, or younger than you.
how are you?
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm a complete different generation than you are. You're a millennial.
I'm
Gen
okay.
Z.
I take great offense to that.
Even though it may only be 1 year, almost to
I
the
take
day.
great offense.
Well, yeah. I am in a different generation than you.
Well, I don't agree, but you know.
Well, millennial.
You remember millennial stuff as much as I do.
No, I was
yes,
a baby.
you do. No, I call myself a zillennial because I'm like right in the middle of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I call myself a Christian. But that's interesting that you say that.
Okay. Oh my
Brother and
God.
sister Gary Marshall and Penny Marshall. Oh, this is a weird one. Get ready for this
Anyway,
one.
my finishing thought on that is just whoever the actor is, good for him. Better
Yeah.
than Leo. Anyway, keep going. He probably doesn't date 10-year-olds. But anyway,
This is a weird fact.
okay.
Brother and sister Gary Marshall and Penny Marshall play husband and wife. He's the one dressed as
Oh, they're
Satan.
brother and sister?
I don't think it's the parents. It's just two other people. Then they play husband and wife.
Wait, what? What do you mean they're two other people?
It's not the main character's parents. It's like two other parents in the movie.
Oh,
But they're brother and sister.
it's weird.
It is weird.
Because like they would look alike.
Yeah.
Why would you want that?
It's like Milhouse's parents in The Simpsons.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Ugh.
On the Hocus Pocus 25th anniversary Halloween bash of 2018, Sarah Jessica Parker revealed that she actually ate the spider in this movie. There's a scene where she eats a spider, and she actually ate a real spider.
I would want to kill myself.
I would ask
honestly.
for a gummy spider, personally.
or something that looks like it, and it's food, and it looks
Yeah.
like a spider. You're not
Or
gonna catch me eating
yeah,
a real spider.
give me a plastic spider. Let me put it in my mouth, then I'll spit it out after the scene.
Like, girl, you didn't have to do all that.
It gets worse. This is the last trivia fact. During a 20th anniversary screening of the film, Doug Jones, who played the zombie,
Not the politician. Just kidding.
no, not the politician,
Just kidding.
he revealed the moths that came out of his mouth at the end when he cuts his mouth open. Moths come out. They were real and not CGI.
That's so nasty.
In a 2018 interview with Bloody Disgusting, makeup and special effects designer Tony Gardner said that the actor wore a mouth rig, a latex pocket attached to dentures that blocked off Jones's throat to make the moths come out. There's a small hole in the very back of the pocket so that Doug could catch some air through it. An animal wrangler would place several moths in the pocket with tweezers. Then the stitches would be glued shut, and we'd run out of frame so that they could get the shot as fast as possible.
You said moths?
Yeah.
The insect?
Yes.
Mm-mm.
They're in his
You
mouth.
know how I feel about that.
Just a bunch of them, because he opens his mouth and there are quite a
I
few.
thought you said moss, like the plant.
Moths, the ugly butterflies.
That sounds terrible, and I would think I would quit on the spot if they made me do that. That's crazy.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
Doesn't adjust.
You know, I notoriously hate insects, so I would literally hate that. You're not gonna catch me doing that. As if I would be acting in general, but like if I was, you're not gonna
No.
catch me doing that. I'll do that over or I wouldn't do that over like even like a nude scene. I'd rather do a nude scene. I'd just rather
Really?
be totally naked than have bugs in my mouth.
I'd rather do both at the same
At
time.
the
yeah. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. You probably win an Oscar.
Does this hold up? This movie?
Yeah.
100%. It definitely does. Show your kids. Watch it yourself. It's a
I
good
mean,
movie.
it's very iconic.
Yeah.
I mean, it has so many decorations, Halloween decorations for a reason.
Yeah.
Everyone I feel like watches this every single year. It's
Yep.
a staple of ABC's or Freeform, whatever.
Yeah.
Like they're like 21 Days of Halloween or 31 Days of Halloween for a reason. So yeah, it's 10 out of 10.
Well, we have 3 more Halloween episodes.
Okay.
Including one that will come out on Halloween. Next week, it's my pick, so we're going to watch The Exorcist. I've never seen the original Exorcist, so we're going to watch it.
It's probably not going to be very. I mean, maybe it was scary for the time. I think I've seen it
Yeah.
before though.
Yeah. The new
Either
one's-
that or Rosemary's Baby, and
The-
that one
I like
is not.
Rosemary's Baby.
But it's from the 50s, and so I'm just like,
That one, though, I can like look at and be like, okay, there are unsettling things in this. Whereas I don't know about The Exorcist.
I definitely seen like a movie inspired by it. I can't remember if it was like the exact Exorcist, because wasn't it from like the 80s or something?
Yeah, you know, the new one is out right now, and it's supposed to be a direct sequel to the first one, and it is being crushed, just bombing.
Oh, it's not good.
And people are saying
The
it's
one
horrible.
with the daughters.
Yeah,
That's tough.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do love a good horror movie like that, a possession movie, but I think the one that I've seen recently, I think it was like might have been Haunting in Connecticut with the guy that plays Negan.
Jeffrey
Walking
Dean
Dead.
Morgan.
Oh, is that his name?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I've seen that one.
Okay.
That one was wild. And then obviously I've seen like Mama, the one where like she
like
adopts
Mama.
those kids
Yeah, it's a good movie.
from the wild.
Yeah.
That was crazy. And then Oculus, that's not even related to necessarily demonic possession, but like The Conjuring, obviously. I mean, we talked about this. Like, we both seen a ton of horror movies, so
We got to wrap it up.
I'm gonna talk for 10 years.
We have to wrap it up because we're pushing our time limit, and the game's about to come on.
Well, God forbid we miss that. I'm just kidding.
Thank you, everybody, for listening, though. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Nuanced Nostalgia. You can follow Caitlin everywhere at Caitlin Shorts. Follow me everywhere at NickNorth06. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. Subscribe on any of your podcast apps. Send it a message if you'd like on Facebook, Instagram, or at Gmail at nuancednostalgiapod@gmail.com. And we'll be back next Tuesday with The Exorcist.
And I will say, recently Nick showed me that a few people in his, I almost said former life, as a teacher, I guess.
Yeah, my former
have been
life
watching
teacher.
this, and I cannot comprehend that people are perceiving me. So
yeah, this is.
I appreciate people listening. Obviously, that's the intention, but we don't do this with the intention of, like, you know what I mean? Of like a bunch of people. Obviously, we would like that, but it's not like we're like, oh, we're gonna get famous off of the.
No,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
we
So,
almost certainly will not. But it's fun to do anyway.
you know what? We just have to do something that's super viral and then put it on TikTok.
I'll
that's what we need to do
I'll do a plank.
for the whole
I'll
podcast.
do the gritty.
One
What
end of
else?
this to the other.
I'll do the cinnamon challenge, the ALS ice bucket challenge.
All of them. We do all of
All at
them
once.
Yeah, and that will do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I say that to say appreciate you listening, and I can't believe that some people do listen to this. I like to listen to myself. I've come around on that.
That's good.
Because at first I was like, I don't want to listen back
Yeah.
because I have a thing about that. So
It
I
takes some
appreciate
getting
people
used to.
listening. Yeah. So
Thank you
thanks.
to everyone who listens. I've had some students who used to
I'm
be in my
glad people like
class
it. Yeah.
that have graduated that have asked to be on the show. Maybe we'll zoom them in one day.
Yeah. In my mind, this is just a conversation between us. I forget that we actually put it out into the world. So.
I'm not. I've been lying. All of these just go on my computer.
Yeah. And they just get stored away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you, everybody. We will see you next week with The Exorcist.
Come, little children, I'll take
She goes like
you
this.
away
She goes like this.
into a land
Move the
of
hands.
enchantment.
You have to move the hands.
Come, little children, the time's come to play here in my garden of magic.